Hi, you guys. So, questions 5 and 6 have been brought to us today for the Getting Past Broken series. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you those right now and then get back to work on that other video I'm working on. Something for you to think about. I already know the answer, and I'm going to make a video about this for you, but, well, because I have to, not because I want to. So I have a question, right? If you cause an offense against somebody, for example, you speak ill of them, and they're not present, and they don't know that you've spoken the words, they don't even know you exist on the planet, they have no knowledge of who you are, they have no way of ever knowing who you are, or that you've spoken said words, and it's highly unlikely they would ever even care to either know you or the words that were spoken. And they were horrible, horrible, horrible words. What do? I'm going to bring you a series of strange and weird connected events and life journeys that resulted in some horrible words being spoken. And while I was trying today to participate in Derek's live chat explaining the serpent video, which has been one of my favorites, I'm one of the first followers of this way. One of the first. There was like double digits, I think, when I subscribed. So that video has been a life changer of mine for my life since the moment that I got the alert that it came up, and I was sitting on the floor this far from the television, just zinging and resonating with every word that he spoke, knowing it was true without a doubt. So I was really enjoying that live stream and visiting that again. And then he said the words. He said the words that provided the like 6th confirmation that I haven't done this video that I have to do yet. So I had to exit that live stream, and I was bummed because I was really enjoying listening to that one. And I had to detach from all connections with any of you guys and start working on that. And in the meantime, we have the next set of questions. So there's some stuff to think about. Oh, my rock, I can see it. Cool. So I know, side note, just a little fun side note, I have some colleagues at work, right? So I was in the office one day. It's kind of a rough day, and I have this really cool colleague, and she came up to me and she leaned into me real, kind of nudged me real bit, and she's like, "Do you know what a badass you are?" And I was just like, yeah. But not quite like that. She's like, "I made you something." So y'all, the next day I come into work and she has left this for me on my desk. The irony and the synchronicity was, I was crying. It was so amazing. Just looking at the very top of it was just so amazing. Look at this. This is awesome. It says, "Don't mess with me. I'm a badass." It's got a blue butterfly on the top. She doesn't know anything about any of this, you guys. Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, we are badass. We have to be. And a blue butterfly on a painted rock, which is something they're trying to get me to participate in. I got the things to do the brain thing for you guys because I couldn't draw the brain right. So I had to get some things to like do the brain thing because the narrow path that we'll talk about. Yeah, I just made a total mess on my desk. Anyway, stalling again. This is me trying to avoid doing something that I've been told to do for over a week. And I'm begging still in my 40 days in the desert, I am begging not to make this video. You guys are going to think I'm out of my mind. The whole world, my whole world is just going to think I'm out of my mind. Derek's going to think I'm out of my mind. I don't even care. It doesn't matter. I've been out of my mind my whole life. Just solidify it, cement it, bring it. I'm alright. Okay, so let's get serious. Okay. Question number 5 from the Getting Past Broken Healing is, how has holding on to your anger and your resentments affected you? Oh, they have. If you're going to be serious and give yourself the work that you deserve to get the results that you deserve, then you're going to be rigorously honest with yourself, because, I mean, come on, it's your notebook. Nobody else is going to read it. And if somebody else is reading it, then you might want to revisit the parameters of and trustworthiness of that relationship and step up into some of the stuff you're learning and make some appropriate changes there, because that would really be a violation of your privacy. So, how has holding on to your anger and your resentments affected you? Because it has. And you know it has. I mean, I can tell you a few of how it affected me, but right now we're not at that part. So I'm just kind of trying to squish you up a little bit and make you think about it. Not that repeating it over and over is going to help, but saying it differently might. So I don't know, what would be an effect of something on a person? I don't know, some people say that stress can cause physical illness. I know in my family there's a lot of physical calamities and illnesses that come about from external emotional factors. So I fully believe that stress can bring on heart problems, anxiety, panic attacks, psychological trauma. A lot of things can come from stress. Well, the stress can come from what? Anything. Anger, resentment, future tripping, unforgiven issues. Oh, right, forgiveness. Yes, we're coming back to that one. Keeps coming up. So just ask yourself, think about it, get quiet, focus. How has holding on to your anger and resentments affected your life? From your childhood, from your adolescence, from your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, whatever age you're at, in your work, in your interpersonal relationships, in your family relationships, in your acquaintanceships, in your online interactions, in your jobs. All of these are areas where there's been some impact. It's part of the completeness of the wholeness wheel, which, you know, that's something maybe in the future we'll talk about that. It's not relevant to Getting Past Broken. I don't know how far you guys want me to go with this healing stuff, so kind of trying to stay in what your expectations are right now. So that one's going to be a hard one, and it should be, because it can change your life. Once you recognize these things, you can start making changes there, which I'm sure we're going to get to. Don't know if we're positive, but it seems logical. Logical part of the healing recovery process, right? So let's look at the next one, because that one's a big one too. Do you believe that loneliness is a choice? I'm going to give you a little bit of personal information about me that I may or may not have already given you to help you think about an answer for that question. The first time I spent a night alone in my own home that was my residence, where I did not have a child to take care of, I did not have a parent to put demands upon me, I did not have a spouse or a partner to do any of the number of things that they were doing, any of that. My very first night of being completely and utterly alone, I was almost 39 years old, and I was beside myself. I had no idea what to do. And I was incredibly lonely that night. But I've chosen to live and remain single for many, many years since then. And I don't experience loneliness even when I am alone with nobody else around me for weeks at a time, which I actually find to be heaven. So, just for some context of other people's personal experiences, do you believe that loneliness is a choice? Or do you think that it's not a choice? Which would be the only way I could actually say that, because it doesn't make sense to me any other way. So if we're following that line of thinking, why do you think it's a choice, or why do you not think it's a choice? And how has your denial isolated you from your important relationships? So I'll rerun that so it's nice and smooth for you. Do you believe that loneliness is a choice? Why or why not? And how has your denial isolated you from your important relationships? So there's like 3 questions there in number 6. So I'll spend some time on that. I'm still, as I mentioned the other day, a bit behind. So I've got 3, 4, 4A and 4B, 5, 6, 6A and 6B that I'll be working on, along with some other stuff that I have to bring to you on forgiveness thing I have to deal with. See, I've got a list, right? The forgiveness list. When I first started going through to clear out all of the junk and cut all the ties, disconnect my world from being interconnected with anybody else's, to work only in connectivity, not in interconnectivity, to establish my self as a free, sovereign, divine, individual being. I wrote a list of every single person I could think of to whom I owed an apology, and for what, throughout the course of this entire life. It was a very lengthy list. I go back to that list and I add to it as I peel off the onion and remember new things that I had forgotten, things that had created negative energy that is still attached to both myself as its creator and the receiver of it as the person to whom it was directed. See, I recognize that that energy has been formed by me. It's negative energy that I formed with my words. That's attached to me. It will always be attached to me. It's also attached to the one who was in the presence of it or received it or heard it. And it will remain attached to them until forgiveness reforms it. So I created a forgiveness list and I hand wrote letters, some of them very long, to some people who were very, very important and close in my life. And I was very brutally honest in a manner in which they found shocking and startling, in both what I remembered needed to be apologized for and in the words I used in expressing that apology to them. And it went old school, right out through the mail. And there were some on the list that I didn't know how to get a hold of them. So I wrote their letters and I have them tucked away. I read the letters out loud, get the energy out into the air. And one that was a pretty significant one that I didn't think I would ever get to make, in some quite unique and catastrophic timing, which was most likely sent directly from Father himself. That one presented themselves at my door in the middle of meditation. That one destroyed a lot of stuff. A lot of self-work came undone with that apology. But it's been rebuilt. So in my world, forgiveness is a living, breathing, ongoing process that gets checked and verified and double checked all the time. And there are times when I've thought that forgiveness has been accomplished, only to later discover that it had not, and have to go back to that list, put that person on and do it again. And I do, because I have to. I'm not going to have that energy attached to me. I'm daughter light. I'm not daughter dark. So it's because of that process that I now have to make a very public apology to a total stranger about something they know absolutely nothing about and highly likely won't care, because I have to reform that energy. It's attached to both of us. And that's my responsibility. And if there's one thing that I've learned since I was born on February 10th of 2018, if I don't do it, it's going to come to my front door and wreck shit for a minute. So I'm working on that one right now. It's going to be very interesting. And oh, you guys, yeah, I don't even know what to say on that one. Hang on, I'll be back. Hopefully I'll have it for you tonight, but it might not be till tomorrow. It's been a crazy week. I know things are changing because the crisis is in families and youth, and the suicide attempts, and the remarkably horrendous sentencings for nothing in juvenile court are getting worse and worse every single day. Every day. So I know it's all coming to a head. And the only thing that's keeping me alive right now and my head above water is looking forward to meeting all of you in just a few weeks out in the desert. There is nothing more important to me right now than meeting you. I'll talk to you soon.